Hello, I'm SKYRIM and welcome back to the video. So Minecraft PlayStation 4 just got its version of the holiday update, better known as the Cats and Pandas update, and the interesting thing about this version of the game, because it is some weird cross of Java and Bedrock developed by a separate studio, 4J Studios, who also develop a bunch of texture packs and mashup packs, is that every single time they bring new features to this version of the game, such as cats, bamboo, pandas and scaffolding, etc., they also develop 22 separate versions, one for every texture pack and mashup pack they develop over the years, and they make sure to add those to the game so that every texture pack feels updated the moment a new update goes live, which means that every single one of these brand new cat textures will be different in each texture pack. Every single one of these bamboo textures will be different in each texture pack, the same for bamboo, the same for scaffolding, the same for even the brand new dyes, I would assume, and today we'll be checking those out because it's an interesting sign to see, one, sometimes there's like weird hints of the future, but two, there's a lot of fun Easter eggs you'll see this way, so let's go through 22 separate texture packs. Like I said, that's an absurd number, but that's the level we've gone to over the last 6 years or so, and let's check out all of these features one by one, starting with the super cute texture pack, which was the last texture pack which wasn't also developed as a mashup pack, and yeah, because this update is mostly seen as the super cute update, it adds cats which are adorable, it adds pandas which are adorable. Taking them into super cute is just way too much for me. Seriously, look at these cats right here, they are just the most adorable texture, and there's 11 different colours of it, and also the collars are a lot more visible on this version, which is kind of a fun thing, but like, look at these things, they are absolutely adorable, and again, it's hard to really describe that. I love that instead of just taking the same textures and making them slightly more cute, they've actually invented entirely new colors, so you can see there's different versions of pink here, there's a blue cat, there's even a green cat if you want to have it that way, which I think is kind of wonderful. So yeah, be warned, if you switch the texture pack, it's going to have super cute different labels, but again, look at those droppers, etc. There's just so many great things about this texture pack, including the bamboo right here, which as you can see in plant form is kind of fun and cute if you look at it from the right angle at least, and in stick form it's just kind of weird in my opinion. I mean, it does have a face in there for it's nice, it almost has like a mouth looking thing, but it's a little bit bizarre, but you know, I could deal with it. I like these plants a lot. I like the top of those things a lot. We also have 4 types of pandas. Oh, and the scary panda is a lot scarier in a cute texture pack. But then you look at the the cute pandas over here, and it's like, oh, look at those eyes, man. They're even more adorable than default. If that's somehow possible, which it is right here, then that's a thing you can spot. And then finally, we've got the scaffolding just over here, the loss of the major blocks. As you can see, scaffolding, they're meant to be tables, but for some reason, they've got adorable faces on. Why is that a thing? I don't know why that's a thing, but it is apparently. And then finally, we've got brand new types of dye. So technically we have all the other types of dye in here as well, which are all types of crayon, and then the dyes just kind of turn into different types of crayon, which I guess makes sense. It's an easy way to do things. And yeah, there we go. So the most interesting thing in this would definitely be the cats to me. Like seriously, these things are just hard to pass up appearance-wise. The pandas are pretty cute, and the bamboo is interesting given it's a plant. Also, my bamboo grew up. So there you go. Now you've seen this texture pack, let's move into something a little less cute. Because The Nightmare Before Christmas is the newest mashup pack released by 4J Studios. You get a themed world, you get a themed, soundtrack, you get themed skins, you get all these different things, but you also get a texture pack, which is, again, a officially licensed one, which means that you do get a bunch of different cat skins, for instance, and as you can see, again, they've taken a lot more detail. Rather than just making, like, a default cat design, then reskinning it in the same way they did before, it's just like, oh yeah, they're all entirely different. Despite the fact that they have to be the same mob, but with different, just variations, every one of these feels like a slightly different mob. We've got, like, skeleton cat, we've got jack-o'-lantern cat, we've got a vampire cat, I assume. Looking at the weird versions here. This one looks like a dog more than a cat. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's cute that it is, right? We've got a whole variety, a zombie cat right there as well. We've got a whole variety of different cats right here. This one is definitely a dog. There is no arguing that's not a dog, right? And that's the great thing about this texture pack. Seeing stuff like, oh, there are dogs in Minecraft, but they're cat dogs. And let's not question it too much. Kind of interesting though, right? Also, looking over here, you can see that one, the string is much more visible in this texture pack, so you can see how I'm stopping this bamboo growing. And two, the bamboo plant is a lot less interesting, but again, when you make a huge stick, I feel like making a bamboo forest definitely has some of its appeals because it's just dark and dreary, but you can use this to make a weird, maze in a much better, more, thematic way in my opinion. So, next up here, we've got pandas, which for some reason, it's The Nightmare Before Christmas, but they're wearing adorable little tops. Maybe they're like circus animals or something. I don't know for sure. What I do know, though, is I was meant to charge my battery. Anyway, so with that said, you can see we've got 4 different types of pandas. I think the expressions are, they're interesting. Like, again, I love these red demon eyes. I love that this one has, the bright green eyes. And they also have a little bit of a thing on their side. Only on one side. It's like a weird tripwire hook, and they've got buttons on them. This is strange overall, this texture pack. But in general, I'd say it looks, you know, the pandas aren't too bad in this one. So then we've also got these tables, which are made from like a weird meshing. Again, they're meant to be a bit more sad. Again, scaffolding, I know, is a bit more, it's just kind of like a block you don't need to care too much about. But if you want it to be a table, it's technically some form of a coffee table, just a really sad one. Finally though, we've got the new types of dye, which are just types of paint. I expect we'll start to see this trend continue now that I'm seeing it be like this, but we don't know for sure until we enter the Pirates of the Caribbean mashup pack. So this is the second thing they've done with Disney. Again, one of the cool things about 4J versus just any texture maker is that obviously they get official licenses, they get like, you know, feedback from them. So this is, you know, made in some part with Disney's team, you know, going back and forth, which is why looking at stuff like this is interesting, because every one of these new designs, as I understand it, has to be approved by Disney before they can be put in the game. So these are Pirates of the Caribbean themed cats. So, you know, these would go great in a jungle. This is a full-on just like savannah cat. I forget what they call in real life. I think it is savannah cat. They're adorable. I love them. I want them, but they're meant to be a whole pain to keep. Then we've got a bunch more kind of cute cats looking here. Again, they all look a little bit old to me. Maybe that's just how jungle cats look, but like they look like they're old men cats. Like, oh yeah, in the nursing home, these are the cats we bring. They've all lived 15 years, very long cat lives. But it's a bit bizarre in my opinion. But it is a thing that you will spot, and more leopard-style cats. In fact, these two cats look suspiciously similar. I'm starting to think maybe they are the same cat. But yeah, you can see, looking around here, we've got a very cute bunch of cats, including a chocolate cat over here. However, we've also got bamboo just over here, which looks like this on the ground. Looks kind of like sugarcane to me, and then like this in the sky. Doesn't look too much like sugarcane to me. String's a lot more visible, it's worth noting, if you do want to have single height bamboo, of course. And then finally, we've got pandas, which for some reason, they look like the sloth from the DreamWorks movie, I believe it is, but you know, The Incredible Life of Pets or whatever. It looks exactly like that. Oh no, it's Zootopia, I think. But it looks exactly like the sloth from that. Like, I mean, look at these guys. Look, what is any of this? Why are pandas sloths that look like they have like watermelons for body? I don't understand any of what's going on here. But have you ever wanted to have sloths instead of pandas? That's an option you have in Pirates of the Caribbean. Then we've got these scaffolds, which, as you can see, actually this situation right here is a really good fit for it. It feels like a good thing to like bridge a gap with these, maybe. So that's a fun little example. And yeah, just in general, the scaffolding isn't too amazing, but it does fit quite well. And then the dye, as you can see, is a new version of the existing colors. They look like some weird crystals, interestingly enough. But yeah, this is Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's not going to be as good as the next one here. The Egyptian mythology is looking good at first glance. You know, something about the cats and Egyptians just immediately struck me as thinking like, yep, there's going to be something going on here. And you can see already like, yep, we've got a Sphinx cat here. We got like, you know, what even is this? This is like the fanciest cat I've ever seen. We've got a very cute, like kind of like snow tiger looking cat right here. Just in general, you know, good variety of cats. I definitely have two of the same type. I think I can confirm now. Oh no, I don't. Actually, yeah, I do. Do I? Yeah, these two are exactly the same. So now we've, you know, found that little flaw here. But then, yeah, you can see looking around the rest of this, like, okay, either there are some very, very similar textures, like this one, for instance. It's the same as that one, but this one is slightly more luxurious than this one. There's a lot of, like, very subtle differences between certain ones. And in general, I would say that's an interesting way to do things, because it means there's still similarities like you might see in default between a black and white cat and a black cat. But, you know, they're different similarities, which sounds bizarre and like it doesn't make any sense, but it's fun to me. Anyway, we've got a tiger cat here too. Just in general, good variety of cats. I hear the Egyptians love their cats. Bamboo is also looking pretty good, in my opinion. Bamboo forest looks solid enough to me. Then we've got the panda bears, which are polar bears, maybe? Or Egyptian bears. I mean, there's no such thing as a desert bear. I don't know why that's the case. Would be a fun variant, but this is the closest thing you can receive in Minecraft. That is a terrifying bear right there. So, yeah, overall, once we include the scaffolding in our little thing, which is, again, I think it's good for making like an Egyptian-themed, like, you know, bridge across something or anything like that. And also, once we include the dyes, which are urns. So, again, I think that's 4 in a row. They're just definitely matching the dyes to other ones. But the other blocks we've seen are looking pretty good so far. Let's move into the next one. 'Tis the season to be checking out the festive mashup pack, which, I mean, honestly, this is like the one time a year where this makes sense. Like, you're not going to be like, you know, it's April, I'm going to put out the cats wearing Christmas jumpers texture pack. At least I hope that's not your thought process. I mean, you might be a serial killer, I'm not sure what my demographics are, how many people have killed people, but assuming that's not your thought, then this texture pack is great for this time of the year, for the next week or so at least, exactly a week I would say. You can look at some really cute little cats wearing jumpers. Again, they're absolutely adorable. This is a great thing. If you do like your Christmas, you do want to, oh, look at this one here. You do want to check it out. It's a thing I would say. However, overall, the cats are just like, oh yeah, they're cats in their pretty much normal outfits, but wearing sweaters. Again, that's what this texture pack aims to do. Default vanilla, but with some weird little, you know, twists, such as bamboo, for instance, which is just, what even would you describe this as? Like candy canes with things coming off them. And pandas, which are pandas, but get this, they're wearing sweater vests, or is that just a sweater? I'm not sure for certain, but there is a lot of bizarreness going on with this one, so have to give it some thumbs up for that, maybe. Then we've got the scaffolding, which I would say is a nightmare. Like, there's no saying this is great, because look at this. I mean, it's, what can I even say about this besides it looks like a mess? It's got Christmas thing. You know, there are too many colors. It's maybe viable if you want to have scaffolding that looks like, again, something Christmassy under construction, but in general, not a fan. However, I am a fan of tinsel being black, blue, brown, and white now, I think. So yeah, with that said, let's move into the Norse mythology mashup pack. Because Norse mythology and the whole, like, almost quite Skyrim kind of thing is something that I've always quite liked. Again, there's a lot of Norse-style texture packs, because we have this, we have Skyrim, and we have Fantasy. But so far, I'd say Norse looks pretty good. The cats are wearing, like, almost look battle outfits, like they've been harnessed. And I don't know what the cats are meant to be, but I find them to be pretty cute. They're little, again, it looks like a little heart vest on that one. Like, look how adorable they are, even though they're meant to be battle cats. Again, I don't know for sure, but I think they're pretty great. Panda bears have turned into black bears, which is terrifying in this form, and very cute in that form. So yeah, we got this one just shuts his eyes entirely. So we also have blind bears in this update. That's pretty exciting. Then we've got bamboo just over here, which is a little tree. Like, honestly, this looks so much like they're just baby little trees, if I'm being entirely honest, but they're not. They're bamboos, apparently. And then also, we've got scaffolding just over here, which is a full-on, like, mini trampoline. Like, there's no way around this. You're going to think of it as a trampoline, and then you're going to fall down, and it's not. Or maybe more specifically, it's like a bear trap, or like a, you know, like a trap in the woods. And you can fall down it, I guess, kind of like one. But I mean, it doesn't really work as a trap or a trampoline, so let me know what you see. Do you see a trap or a trampoline, or do you see something else entirely? Use those comments to let me know, and in the meantime, look at these delightful dies, which are the same as the other ones. So, at some point, we're going to stop checking that chest. Maybe there'll be an exception, but for now, let's move into the next texture pack. Because the city texture pack is one favoured by builders as far as I can tell across both Bedrock and of course on console. So you know, looking at it, you can see, okay, this is what your cats will look like if you want the building texture pack or whatever. So first of all, you can see super adorable cats in some cases. I mean, like, I would say they're all pretty adorable. More adorable than default. Look at this one, it's crying. Why is the cat crying just by default? Okay, so don't get this cat. It will just make you sad. In fact, maybe kill the cat if you get it. I don't know for sure what you want to do, but it's worth keeping in mind. Then, oh, the Russian blue, you know, there's some very cute varieties, including what I'm pretty sure is Grumpy Cat inside Minecraft. I could be wrong about that, but is this not just exactly Grumpy Cat? Anyway, so we've also got, as you can see right here, some bamboo, or like tropical plant as it looks right here. We got some panda bears, which have some very strange, friendly faces, so as you can see, all looking delightfully friendly, besides demonic, wants to eat your eyes out bear. And then we've got these things which look like pretty good tables. I don't know why they didn't go like full table, because most of this texture pack is based on trying to make, you know, like appliance space, stuff that would make a house. Like, look over here, looks like some real doors for a modern apartment. Look at the piston, looks like something you could use for something like that. Look at even the dropper dispenser and the observer block. They all look like washing machines, ovens, or like, maybe that's like a thing on the wall. So yeah, it's kind of weird to look at all of those and then see that the tables, or the scaffolds, you know, as they actually are, just look like this. But maybe if you want to use them for scaffolding, for like an in-progress building, they'd be good for that. I'm just not too sure why they didn't take advantage of that one fully. And then finally, we've got the dies, which, as you might have predicted with your absurd foresight, actually look like this. White die, brown die, blue die, and black die. Very, very delightful. Bernardo's delightful. As the Chinese mythology mashup pack, because as we all do know, the Chinese love the cats, maybe a bit too much, or is that too little? But anyway, with that said, Chinese mythology for cats is a great example of how to use, you know, like one example to make cats wildly different across it. So you can see some of these cats, like this is a dragon cat, for instance. Like, why does that need to be a thing? I don't know, but I love it. You know, this cat, regular cat, regular cat, regular cat, and then, oh, it looks like Tigger from, you know, Winnie the Pooh maybe, which, as I understand it, you know, like, referencing Winnie the Pooh is actually quite offensive in China. Genuine in fact, by the way, you can look that up if you want. Referencing Winnie the Pooh is potentially an issue of the current, you know, system, so I'm not going to mention too much about that, but it looks exactly like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, right? So yeah, we've got a tiger cat right here, if nothing else. Then we've got this right here, which is a blaze cat, mate. I don't even know, but it's adorable. And then we've got some fairly regular-looking cats on this end. So it's almost like a spectrum of normal all the way down to dragon, and you've got everything in between, apparently, which is great. Again, this is why I love that there's 11 cat skins and all the textures. That means we have over like 220, or I guess 242 to be precise, different sets of cat textures to play around with. Then also, we've got ourselves some bamboo plant, bamboo. Looks like bamboo because you know where bamboo is most commonly used, in China where they feed pandas. So I could be wrong here. I'm sure there's some slight stylization, but I think this is pretty much identical to the default because, again, like Chinese mythology just has pandas existing as pandas, so it logically makes sense there. Then we've got these tables, which are also scaffolding. Again, I know most people use, they're called scaffolding, but just so many people just call them tables. I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'll just join people on that one. Then we've got some urns filled with dye, which was entirely unexpected to anyone who's been watching this whole video. It's a whole wild ride, but we've managed to make it through to the next texture pack. By the way, do you like my wings? But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Wait, first, look how adorable this panda is. But yeah, the next texture pack is the plastic texture pack, which is actually the first texture pack released, and there's usually not much to say about it besides, look, the cats look plasticky. Although in this case, you can see they've got like super huge like mouth things. What even is that? They all actually look pretty different. They're very simply toned. Again, plastic usually just means like simplifying textures, and that means there's not too much to talk about besides, look, it's like a bamboo if there was less detail in bamboo. It's like a panda if pandas had very slightly less facial expression. In fact, if you just look at my panda over there, it's a pretty much identical replica of how these ones should look right here. Then we got scaffolding, and get this, scaffolding is more simplified. And then finally, maybe we've got something different here because, okay, no. Actually, the die does look different. So every different die has its own like number of bits. So yellow is like 5, red is like 6, orange is like 3, and then black is 3, blue is 3, brown is 3. So they're all the same as each other, but at least they're different to the other dies. That is progress, I think you'll find, friends. And yeah, just in general, there's not too much to say about plastic, but there is a lot to say about Greek mythology. Because in Greek mythology, cats have snakes for tails, maybe? Is that what that's meant to be? It is, in fact, a snake on the back of a cat. So if you've never seen snakes reacting to cucumbers, by the way, fun video recommendation for after this one. But, cats are scared of snakes, and maybe this is part of why. At one point, there was a time where snakes and cats were just glued together. Why is that a thing? Who made that decision? I'm confused, but I'm also fascinated. Question mark. Then we've got some bamboo. Looks a lot like trees, as you can see, like an olive grove or something. And they're much better looking than regular trees. Anyway, so if you wanted to make a nice little... I'm not even sure what you'd make of these because you can't properly, stop them from going. But still, it looks really great when you make a whole forest of these. So there's some purpose. I'm just not sure what it is. Then we've got ourselves, just over here, some panda bears. And pandas look like pandas, if you would believe it. They do. And they've got funny Greek patterns where it looks like this one's a cyborg panda sent from the year 3300 to come back and stop humanity from ever breeding pandas because one day the panda race rules civilization and it's just not fair. I don't know for sure why it looks that way, but it totally does. Whereas the other ones look a bit more like they're patterned pandas, like, oh, this one's got some eye makeup on and he's looking delightful. This one has been putting a lot more effort into his, his tattoos recently. Look around that body. But in general, it's a bit confusing, but I guess that's that. Then we've got scaffolding over here, which has the same kind of Greek pattern-y thing going on. I kind of like it. I think it looks okay. Not great, but definitely above average for what we've seen so far. And then we have some dies, which look exactly the same as all the other dies. However, maybe it's not true in the next texture pack, because the next texture pack is the natural, which is the second oldest texture pack, and as a result it also has the same thing where it's usually not that detailed. It's just like, hey, cats, but more natural. Although these ones don't look more natural, they look kind of cartoony again. But again, you can see, like, okay, they're cute looking cats. This one in particular, look at that cat's face and tell me you don't want to stroke it. It's like a cute little Persian. The orange cats too, again, they're adorable cats, have to give that to them. The bamboo looks slightly different. I would say actually quite a positive change. Like, it looks like a real different thing. And when you look at a bamboo forest, you can see that, like, oh yeah, it definitely is kind of that way. Then we've got some pandas over here, which... honestly, I would say don't look any more natural than, ever. Like, maybe they've got more detail going on, like they're a higher res texture pack. You can see those eyes have more... wait, let's just punch one out of the way. Just look at those eyes, you can see there's just more curvature and, like, diagonals. It's a more detailed texture, I believe, but otherwise looks pretty much the same, besides this shading you'll see around them. And then the scaffolding... Again, I think it's higher resolution than default, but pretty much otherwise identical. However, when you look at the dyes, they're different. We did it, guys. We did it. We found a texture pack where they changed the dye to something else entirely. I guess roll credits now. But no, that is the end of the natural texture pack. There's usually not much to say about it, so the fact that it has like 3 or 4 good things to say is a big improvement, but maybe not as good as the Adventure Time mashup pack. Because yes, this really is a thing. Minecraft and Adventure Time did a little bit of a collab together, and they made an Adventure Time mashup pack. And now I'm almost 100% certain that these cats are the same, but I'm not quite there. So anyway, with that said, let's talk about the Adventure Time mashup pack, because the cats, they've got, again, a really distinct look to them. They've got the eyes that kind of match the Adventure Time kind of theme, but only in some cases. Again, there's very different, distinct designs across all the cats. I love that they use their texture packs as an opportunity to play around with the fact that they can make 11 entirely different cat designs, so they've kind of done that a little bit here, which is kind of fun. Then, we've got ourselves some giant teddy bear style things. Again, that bear is very different to this bear, which is very different to Mr. Angry Face Bear over there. But then we have one last bear, which I have to kind of see, and they all definitely look like cuddly panda bears, but they all have like different, like look at these two next to each other. It's just kind of bizarre. And this one is just kind of strange to see next to all of that. So then we've got ourselves some, some of these, of course. And honestly, I like the scaffolding because it's the most faithful recreation of them, because as you can see, there's string tying it together, and their recipe is 6 bamboo and 1 string, so it kind of adds up in my opinion. Also, I haven't seen this till just now, but look at the ice in this texture pack. If you use it for like, these pretend trees, if you don't know, I've made a whole bunch of biomes on Minecraft PlayStation 4. It was just a fun thing I've done a few times. But yeah, basically, one of the biomes I made was like these pretend frozen trees, and they look really, really good. So that's a bizarre recommendation, but I'll give it to you anyway. And that is something I definitely don't get to say all the time. But yeah, then we've also got some black dye, some blue dye, some brown dye, and some white dye over here. Also, look at this weird cursor. Lots of odd things in this texture pack. So yeah, that is the Adventure Time texture pack, but will it beat the legendariness that is Halloween 2015? So as we all do know, December is actually the best time to experience spooky Halloween stuff because it's all on sale. You can get it at its cheapest point right now, and that includes the Halloween mashup pack. I don't think that is true, but let's pretend it is for the sake of saying, look at these cats. We've got a hell-raising cat, we've got a skeleton cat, we've got a weird, I'm not even sure what this is, half jumper, half snow leopard cat. Why? I mean, it's a very fashionable cat, but like, why does that need to be a thing? Then we've got, actually, I've just realised now. Okay, no, never mind. I thought these two cats were different, because like, oh, wait a minute, it's not the same, but it's the second, and like this one. They're exactly the same, and I just somehow got them mixed up. Then we've got a zombie cat with some weird black clothing. Tries to look like I think it's one of the Fortnite skins that looks a bit like that, right? Then we've also got, this kind of red-eyed cat. I'm not even sure. This one's just missing his front legs because he's a ghost cat, I guess. This one is... I have no idea what this is. Then we've got the skeleton cat again, a half-eaten cat, a black cat that's like full-on black, like, I don't know, too black if you ask me. And then we've got a white cat with some grey stripes. So, good variety here, all kind of spooky looking, but not as spooky looking as the pandas, am I right? And I guess I'm not right, because they don't look very spooky. Although they all do have kind of like sewed together stuff, so they're half-dead pandas sewed back together. I mean, I can get on board with that, I guess, question mark. What I do love, though, is that bamboo is a bone, and the bone grows into like a big leg or something. I don't know why I love that so much, but I just love the principle of like, hey, so wouldn't it be great if like bones grew into legs? So someone just assumes that's how it works, and in Halloween time, it definitely does. Then you can see, looking at this, looks kind of, it's the same kind of string principle, but then like green string. I don't know what I think about it. I guess if you're in this texture pack, you probably dig it, because again, Halloween's the best season of all. And then finally, we got the dyes, which are shockingly the same. So we're going to move on now to the next texture pack. So the pattern texture pack is one that already looking at, I can tell I'm gonna like at least a little bit, because they use, if you don't know, this texture pack just uses lots of geometric shapes in lots of kind of cutesy ways, and you can see they've done that on the cats to be like happy cat, sad cat, or like at least shutting your eyes like I don't care about you. Then sad cat, happy cat, oh sad cat, happy cat, sad cat, sad cat. So there are sad cats, there are happy cats, and they're all adorable. Look, these ones have bow ties on. In fact, I think they all have bow ties on in slightly different colors. That's adorable. In fact, I would imagine that's a thing you can maybe even dye. It's just great in my opinion. Loving this texture pack beyond belief. But then also, we have some bamboo, Oh, which grows and looks like that, apparently. But bamboo looks like this. It's like some weird vegetable plant that grows up into bamboo. Like, in my head, I don't see the relation between this and this, but, you know, they do go together, and maybe if you see it that way, you think I'm bizarre for not seeing it. And then we've got pandas, which look like they're made of, like, Christmas sweaters. It's a bit strange, but it is adorable, if nothing else, so you have to give them something for that. And, yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention, just look at all these pandas in their Christmas sweaters eating adorably bamboo. I love it personally. I think it's hard not to. But then we have scaffolding, which is some weird patterned gap rather than anything else. And then we've got dye, which is the same as everything else but different colors. So exciting, revolutionary stuff, but not as revolutionary as the Bethesda packs we've got coming up next. Because the Fallout mashup pack is one I really do quite like, personally. You know, I like Fallout as a series a lot, so seeing it in Minecraft, it's really quite great. So seeing radiated cats, for instance, or irradiated cats, I think it is kind of great to see. This one is just kind of normal looking, but that's proof. If you have a tortoiseshell looking cat, it looks like it's already been through radiation, so it doesn't get radiated again. Then we've got this cat, which has just lost all its color. This one's white, which is kind of cute. This one's maybe lost a lot of its fur. This one is just an adorable tiger again. I don't know why this is like true across all the texture packs, but there's just a cute tiger mixed in there. Then we've got some more cats losing their fur. And finally, one other super green, super radiated, just what even is this type of cat? Which is kind of fun, if you ask me. So, looking at the bamboo right here, you can see that like, oh yeah, look at the bamboo. It's like it's a nice fun little thing that is corn looking, but then turns into bamboo. Again, I don't know what the logic is there, but apparently there must be some. And panda bears have lost all of their fur. These are mutant beasts that are just vaguely called panda bears. What is this? This is a horrific, horrific, horrific mess. I don't know. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at these fellas. They are just... This is not something I want to meet in my life, ever. But what I do want to meet in my life is these scaffolders, because, I mean, compared to the Fallout universe, they look in relatively good condition. However, big question is paint, which is the same everywhere. So, we're going to move on now to the other Bethesda mashup. And we don't have any game audio, by the way, just because Bethesda and claiming things. You know how it is. So let's move into Skyrim. Man, I love this menu even. It's like a Pip-Boy menu. But let's go to Skyrim. So Skyrim is a wonderful mashup pack map and a pretty good texture pack. However, when you look at it over here, you can see how like, okay, we got a bunch of cats. What makes them particularly Skyrimish? I mean, I feel like you could have done something with Khajiit, but maybe they, you know, Skyrim turned them down. Like I said, they do have to get permission every single time. So overall, I say cats are a meh out of 10, besides this slightly fox-looking one right here. Is this a fox? I think it is just a full-on fox. So we got fox out of 10 is my new rating for this one. Panda bears are this very, very bizarre looking creature. I mean, look at all of them right here. They're all at least a little bit confusing. Oh, I left the tiger or the fox running around with me. That's fine. Let's have a fox of us. Then we've also got just over here some scaffolding. I like the scaffolding quite a bit, again, compared to previous ones. However, the big question is the dyes, and sadly, not very good answer. In general, I would say Skyrim is fox out of 10. That's how I'm going to give this texture pack an official rating. But is it going to be as high as the next texture pack? So the Mass Effect mashup pack is always an interesting one, because this started as just one of the worst texture packs for anything, but I feel like over time its charms grow and grow, and now it's actually a pretty decent pack. And although I don't know if cats necessarily fall into that, like these are just weird neon creatures, is this what cats look like in the future? Because if so, I don't know if I want to be in that future, but you know, if you want a futuristic looking cat, you'll have that over here. But then also, futuristic bamboo, you might question, how can bamboo look like the future? This is how, checkmate. Oh, by the way, look at that giant cat. But yeah, so looking at you know, like the pandas, for instance, you can see that like, okay, I guess that is I guess that's technically a mob, and there are 4 of it. And then also looking at bamboo, it's like, okay, these are kind of nice too. But in general, I would just say that this texture pack is one that's again, it's kind of hit and miss in some ways, you could say. But overall, I would say that it does the job of being a slightly futuristic mashup pack that somehow feels Minecrafty still. That's a very hard challenge, it doesn't sound like it, but it works just here, at least as far as I can tell. So, with that said, the last question is the chest of magic. What are the dyes like? And they're exactly the same. So maybe we should just stop checking it. But before we can do that, we have to move on to the next texture pack. Have you ever wondered what a steampunk cat would look like? Because if the answer to that question is a yes, which it should be, then this is a steampunk cat. They're made from gears and other slightly mechanical things. This one has a moustache because, you know, in the steampunk future, all cats will have moustaches. It's just a well-known fact at this point, I've realised. But yeah, basically you can look at these cats and be like, huh, okay, So, cats of the future. Looking kind of snazzy, I guess. But no, yeah, steampunk cats, I like them a lot. I would say overall, they fit the aesthetic. The aesthetic is bizarre, but it's kind of a nice one regardless. We've also got bamboo, which looks like this. Again, it's kind of metallic. It looks... I think these, because if you take off the top of these, I think these are a really great base for some more building. Like, you know, like they look like pipes, for instance. I think that is just really, really useful. Throw something like a birch plank on top of there, or like, you know, there's a lot of good examples, but if you do something like that, it's going to be really, really great. So let's just try, actually. Okay, this is going to be hard, actually. But yeah, you can very easily, if you want to. Okay, let's try it like this. And then we place some bamboo over there, and then, you know, my point being is you can very easily make this into, like, the base of something. All you have to do is perfectly get a block on top of that. You know, this is hard. There we go. And look at that. Now there's a pipe going into my block. And because it's at a slightly off position, it looks really good, at least in my head. I like that a lot. Then we got pandas, which are robot pandas. Heck yeah. So they look much better than the Mass Effect pandas and much more futuristic and much more just everything I like about these things. So all good on that one. And then also, we've got scaffolds, which look like this. So as you can see, looking pretty great. And then finally, the biggest question of them all. Oh, we got... Okay, these are actually cool looking dies. I haven't seen them before. But they are the same, sadly. So let's move into the last 4 texture packs now. Or 3. You know what? Honestly, we're over an hour in. I've kind of lost count. So, the cartoon texture pack is always a fun one, because look, my diamond sword's a swordfish, for instance. But no, the more fun parts of it, the more new parts of it, as you can see, they're looking pretty darn cartoony. I don't think they're the cutest, or the most cartoony even textures we've seen so far, but they do fit with the rest, and there is some cute ones, like, hey, look, it's Sylvester Stallone, or like, is that the name for cat? Or is that the name of the famous movie star? I'm not even sure, but like, hey, that's kind of funny, or like, hey, look at this. There's bamboo and it's slightly more green and cartoony. And like, I really like these stalks, for instance. In general, things are pretty good here. And these pandas are just, they're delightful. They've got really, really sharp edges on these lines, which makes them actually look like they're drawn-on cartoons. I love them a lot. I think they're some of the best-looking pandas we've seen so far, actually. Look at this panda's eyes and tell me you don't think he's great. I'll give you a clue you can't do that because they look wonderful. So then we've got scaffolding looking like this. It's hard to really disagree with this scaffolding. I think it's, again, some good scaffolding for the sides. Some okay on the top, but it's not really too bad overall. One of the better ones we've seen. And finally, we've got the die, which is exactly the same. Also, the icon is just always weird to me here. So yeah, overall I'd say cartoon has a solid... probably one of my favorites so far, overall. But is it my very favorite? We can't find out until we try out the Little Big Planet mashup pack, which is exclusive to the PlayStation 4 edition, and I guess console, arguably by default, but it's only found on PlayStation 4 right now, which makes it kind of interesting, because if you want to play a Little Big Planet stuff, this is the only way how. So, have you ever wanted cats that look like this? I think the answer is probably no, although a purple cat is pretty swell given the rest of this. So then, we've got some bamboo, which is solidly bamboo, and we've got some pandas, which, if you'd believe it, oh, look how sad this panda is. I'm sorry, what do I need to do to make you happy, panda? What do you need? Why are you just, look, he's just taking the bamboo, he doesn't even want to eat. This is tragic, this is sad, this is, oh, okay, they're all pretty cute, they look like sack boys. So, then we've got the scaffolding, which I love, like, I think... As far as actually looking like scaffolding, this has done the best of any texture pack. And then we've got the dies here, which are exactly the same. So overall, I'm going to give this a solid, like, perfect out of 10, besides the cats. What is wrong with your faces? So yeah, I'm going to give this a solid recommendation. But I feel like the Little Big Planet texture pack is so niche that this probably wouldn't change your mind. But maybe it should. However, we have 2 more to go now. We've got Fantasy and we've got Candyland, and I'm kind of looking forward to both of them. So let's go into Fantasy. So the Fantasy texture pack is one that's really great. It's hard to really argue with that one too much. And looking at the cats in this, you can see they're like, oh yeah, the cats are looking kind of great too. There's nothing too amazingly unique about any of their designs, but I mean, it's hard to disagree with any of this too much. Again, it's just like okay, looks solid, looks good, not too bad. Then we've got bamboo plants, which I love in their miniaturized form. In their maximized form, I think it looks okay, I think it looks pretty good, but it's nothing to write home about, whereas these trees are just a delight. I don't know why they're made this way, why they're gold like everything else, but it's just strange. They look like a bizarre contrast in the world. Like, let's take these cats and let's cover them with bamboo, and it's like, huh, okay then, this is a thing, I guess, question mark. So yeah, I'm a big fan of these. These look like palm trees, so there's going to be an issue if palm trees do come to Minecraft, and I believe they're confirmed to come at some point in the future, so that's a bit of a bizarre one. But cats and palm trees, ever wanted them? Guess what? Here they are. Then we've got some pandas, which as you can see, adorable panda with closed eye, adorable panda that's mad, adorable panda that's just adorable, and adorable panda that's crying. What a great collection we've got. Then we've got scaffolding, which looks okay. I mean, it's solidly middle of the pack, like nothing too unique to say. However, the big question of the day in our penultimate texture pack is whether or not the dyes are different, and they are. Oh my god! They're the same as each other, but at least they're different to like bananas and like rose red and like all this stuff. So yeah, that's a solid improvement. But I've been saving the best for last because the candy texture pack, which is one of the most revolting texture packs, I've never used it in any serious purpose, is coming up last. So the candy texture pack is always a bizarre one, and in this case, I don't even know what I think immediately, because I look at these cats and I think, is this meant to be like a chocolate bar, like the inside, but it's a cat? Don't eat your cats, that's not what they're meant for. Is this meant to be the same, but dark chocolate? Like, all these cats look vaguely like cakes. This is like a strawberry shortcake or something, but it's just a bit like, okay, or whatever it's called in the UK, like not a Tim Tam, but like a Yum Yum maybe. I'm not even sure, but they're all delightful snacks, and it's confusing to say the least. They're all very similar to each other though, so designs, I'm gonna give them like a 3 out of 10. Would like to see improvement next time. Bamboo are lollipops that grow into like long trees. It's a bit confusing, but again, like I admire the effort at least. All pandas are brown pandas. Have you ever thought to yourself, wow, brown pandas are sure so rare? All pandas are brown pandas today because we got this. If you're curious, by the way, I tried to get brown pandas, but on console, there's no way to guarantee it, so I spent literally 40 minutes trying to get brown pandas, and just by pure coincidence, I don't know what the odds on that are, no brown pandas showed up. So angry about that one still, but I can now have brown pandas. All I had to do is have the candy texture pack, but you know what's better than brown pandas all the time? Look at that creepy smile on that panda over there, by the way. That is a creepy smile. Stop that. Stop that. Okay, so then we've got ourselves some scaffolding. As you can see, looks okay. And then, finishing up the delightful pile, we have a bunch of dyes. Brown dye, white dye, blue dye, and black dye, looking exactly the same. So that does bring us to the end of this texture pack overview. Again, I like to do every single time there's an update. And in this case, all I've really learned is that the 4J team really likes making interesting cats, and also the scaffolding looks bad in most texture packs besides default. I mean, I kind of liked it in fantasy, and I liked it in a few of them. Little Big Planet one was pretty good. But in general, I would say if you want to use the new update features, Vanilla's pretty good, and maybe go with Candyland if you want to brag to your friends you have brown pandas. That's what I would say. Full disclosure advice right there. But no, more generally speaking, this was a lot of fun. I hope you did all enjoy it. If you do like this series, we do every single time an update comes out, please do like to let me know because it helps out the channel a lot. Let's know you do enjoy this sort of video. If you want to see proof, by the way, I spent hours spawning brown pandas in, getting to the spawn limit, killing them, so on and so forth. Or not hours, I guess. But 0.6 hours is technically hours, so I'll go with it. Here are all the pandas I spawned in, by the way. But yeah, then you can like them, let me know, share if you liked it, subscribe if you're around here, and let me know what you think of my stretch panda right here. I was like, you know how you can get like limo versions of cars that are way longer? What if we had a limo panda? And that's what I've been slowly building, and you'll see it through some more background gameplay. So if you're confused, don't be confused anymore. And also, make sure to turn on the bell so you see more of these videos. This might be the last one we do for Minecraft console, because again, after the bedrock switch happens, there's going to be a lot of changes. But I hope you all enjoyed the series in its entirety. Until now, if you want to learn about the next update for Minecraft, in the description I've got the Pillage and Village update, all the features as they've been coming out, so you can learn more about it, link down below. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Oh look, it's a pretzel wing. That's nice. Anyway, goodbye. Every single one of those textures has to be updated for each of those texture packs. Look at the panda in the background. Okay, let's try that again.